Good evening, all, and welcome to the end of day live trading session. Okay, so now this evening, obviously, what we've got is we're going to be looking at our normal Ichimoku end of day trading system. We just basically trade that every evening. We're going to have a look at what has happened, what has transpired, um, if there's any new trades up, and just generally check normal analysis as always. Okay, now we're just going to have a quick rundown on the Ichimoku and how it works. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. Remember the lines that we are using with the Ichimoku. We have got what we call the Senku span A, which is the green line at the top, and then the Senku span B, which is the red line at the bottom. Okay, to load your Ichimoku on, remember you're going to just find it here underneath the indicator section. There we go. There's the Ichimoku. Click, drag, drop. You just get your settings set accordingly. Um, and then basically, remember, we've got a total of 5 lines once you've got it on. Okay. It's the Senku span lines which form the cloud. Okay. From there, then we've got the Tenkan and Kujin sen lines. And then we've got the Chiku span. Okay. Now, let's see who remembers. Okay. Um, the different entry signals. Okay, there's 5 entry signals. So let's see if anybody can get this. List those 5 entry signals. Five different ways to grab an entry with the Ichimoku. Tenkan and Kujin crossover. That's correct. Okay, well done, William. Another one. Who can tell me? Okay. Kumo break. Okay, there's another one. Price breaking Kujin. Future Kumo cross. And then Chiku breaking price. Okay, so those are the 5 entry signals that we're looking at. Okay, each one needs to be basically assessed according to the position it's got to the cloud, the position of price to the cloud, what the future Kuma looks like, where the Chiku span is situated, and the direction that all of these lines are pointing in. Remember that with the Chiku we want clear open space in front of it. Now let's start and run with our normal analysis for the evening. Okay, firstly, bullish or bearish? What are we looking at here? Should I zoom in slightly? There we go. Okay, so bullish or bearish? Well, technically we're sitting, that's in consolidation. Well done, William. Thanks for that. Okay, perfectly done. Right. So with this one at this point in time, there's not really much we can really look at, but there are 2, 3 possible signals coming up now. Okay. we got the Tenkan Sen cross earlier, you see there, right? But this was a sell signal, but it was on the wrong side of the cloud because it was above the cloud. Therefore, it was a bullish flow at that point in time. So it was a weak sell signal, so that we definitely ignored. Okay, we did not go for that at all. We didn't have the turn as well to have the Kujin break on the upside compared to where we were last week with this one. Okay. And we see that the Chiku moved into the cloud, and currently the Chiku is smack bam inside price. Okay, so that tells us that this is actually consolidating now, and that's why we see price in the cloud as well. Now, there's a couple of things that could happen now. One of them is we could get a Kumo break happening. In other words, price breaking the Kumo cloud, either from the inside to the top or to the bottom. That will be the overall direction indication then. Okay, that can be taken as a trade entry as well, but we need to assess it with the rest of the chart. Remember what I said, your Kumo breaks are the more difficult trade setups of the Ichimoku to take, because you're never going to have everything lined up perfectly. Okay, you're always going to have something situated on the wrong side or so forth. You could see that Tenkan and Kujin-sen lines are basically, on the wrong side of the cloud to look at anything for a sell. But what do you think is going to happen when this actually moves down a little bit further? Where's the Chiku going to be? Okay, that's going to start clearing price once this clears the cloud. Chiku's in open space then. So it could be a good signal. But I just wait for the future Kumo cross to happen as well. Then I'll have a couple of more things going my way. So the only thing that's not going to be in my way are actually just the position of the Tenkan and Kujin Sen lines to the cloud. So that would be definitely a sell signal that I would be looking at. But let's say this goes up. What is it going to do then? Would there be any good signal to take then? Can we take the upwards Kumo break? What do you guys think? Would that be a smart idea? Always wait for. You don't have to wait for the second bar to close, Silo. Um, Basically, all it is you just need the candle that gave the confirmation to have closed the previous night. That's it, and then you can get in. Okay. Right. Now, okay. Both of you are correct here. Okay, William and Silla, well done. Okay, basically, we're not going to go into that trade. Big reason being that we've got Chiku moving into prices, William said. Okay, and look at what's going to happen when this goes up. This is still too close to the cloud as well. Okay, so I wouldn't touch that at all. I'd rather wait for maybe price breaking Kujin to the top, but then it's all going to be dependent on where the Chiku is situated as well. And if we're going to get to that point, we're probably going to have the Chiku inside price still. So I'd rather wait for the Chiku to clear price to be, a little bit more confident in taking the upward swing on this. So I'm very interested in the downwards break, but I'm not liking the idea of going for the upward swing. Okay. So hopefully you guys are starting to see, that same type of analysis. And as long as you are, I'm happy. Okay. Right, next chart. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. So here we've got the pound US dollar. Okay. Now this one has retraced a little bit. It's expected. Okay, remember, we've made some profits and now it's pulling back against us. That's normal. This is why we run the stop loss 3 flat sections back. Okay, so here we've got a flat section, but it's not completed. It's still forming. Therefore, we ignore it. And here we go. 1, 2, 3 flat sections back. Okay, so we have ratcheted our stop loss already. We've minimized our risk on this trade, but we've also got more than enough room for price to make its retracement and then most likely continue going down. Okay, right. Nothing else that I can see in particular. We've still got the Chiku, sitting at quite an alright spot. We can expect a bit of retracement happening. There's always a slight retracement, a bit of sideways movement, and then the drop. You can see it's constantly running in those type of cycles. Okay. Good thing is I've still got the cloud pointing down itself as well. Okay, so that's also a good signal, and we're seeing flat sections being formed here. So we're not at any point close yet to getting the stop hit, purely for the fact that we're starting to form some support resistance levels at these sections here. Okay, so hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you guys with that one in particular. Okay, if there's any questions on this chart, shoot away. Okay, so far everything looks good then. Okay, now let's have a look at the US franc. Now with this one, okay, what do you guys think? What's happening here? Okay, remember what we looked at a week ago? What do we have? We were literally on that candle right there. Let's just move that slightly up. But that red bearish candle over there, okay? So we had the price breaking Kujin entry signal being given. But what was the problem that I had in particular? Okay, I didn't like where the Chica was situated. Okay, so I didn't want to jump for that one in particular. And we can see basically with the retracement that it's making there, right? Um, I think yeah, with that one basically, we just needed to wait a little bit longer to get a bit of a better idea. Once the Chica would have broken free from the cloud, it would have been a slightly better signal. And remember, we wanted to kind of just grab a good idea that the future Kumo was not going to cross as well. Because at the point that we looked at it, it was already going a lot smaller. Okay. And we can see the crosses starting to happen at the front end now. So signals at this point in time look more to most likely being either more sideways movements coming along, or we're probably going to get a shift in direction. Okay, right. Next chart. So over here, bullish or bearish? Let's hear it. What do you guys say? That's it, William. Bearish. Well done. Okay, right. Being bearish, we're obviously in the sell. This one is kind of at a just profitable level. Okay, but it has been retracing slightly. As expected, it'll always do these type of things. It's forming a big flat resistance level at this point over here. Okay, with the Kujin-sen. We're still going to have to give this quite a bit of time to kind of just move down a bit further, right? But it looks like it could be building up. We just need to wait and see. We're getting that Chiku moving closer to price now, so this might extend further into consolidation, or worst case scenario, this starts turning against us and going up. Hopefully for us, we get a bounce off the Kujin level over here, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, there's still a lot of time left, for the market to do its thing and so forth. So yeah, we just need to wait. Was quite, higher up earlier in the day, and it's starting to, push a little bit lower. But like I said, we're losing basically profits, but not really profits. We basically just got a drop in our floating profit, purely because most of these charts are now retracing their breathing, catching a breather before they continue with their original trend. If not, they do turn against us, but that's not an issue. Okay, because remember, we've already ratcheted quite a couple of stops as well. Right, now over here we are in another entry as well. Okay, and remember this one we took the Kumo break on. Okay, we were a little bit adventurous with this one because we liked the way that everything else was set up. Okay, the Chica was free from price once it broke as well, and it was below price at that point. Not only that, we had a nice strong, downwards pointing Tenkan and Kujinsen at this point in time. And then remember the future Kumo crosses, just the extra little confirmation we were looking for, to make it a little bit more of a viable entry on that one. So this one is currently bullish or bearish. That's it, bearish. Price is below the cloud at that point. Okay. So this one's running quite good. It's nicely in profits. I'm happy with the way this one is flowing. This just needs to run quite a little while further because we still need to get some 3 flat sections forming before we can really ratchet, our stop. So nothing to ratchet there as well. Okay. Let's have a look at the next chart. Okay, so over here, what we've got is we've got the Euro Yen. Now with this one, it's been trending nicely downwards. It's gone a little bit sideways now. Okay. Bearish chart, obviously. No real signals over here. Okay. This is just trending nicely. So we got our signals a little while ago. Nothing that we can really do on this one. Okay. Stop has been ratcheted. We've got 1 flat section. Oh no, we can actually ratchet now a little bit further because I've got it on a previous flat section there. So let's actually move this. Okay. See, we've got a completed flat section here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 flat sections back. So I'm just going to pull this down by a couple of points. There we go, spot on. Boom. Okay, so stops ratcheted. Okay, once that flat section completes and is finished forming, we'll ratchet again. Then we'll have it on that little level. So each little time, it keeps on ticking. We pull the stop lot closer, minimizing our risk. Okay, so hopefully you guys have got yours set nicely as well. Okay, now Euro franc. What are we seeing here? What is this? Now, I purposely haven't done anything on this one yet. I wanted to see what you guys have done. So, what have you guys done on this one? Are any of you in? Okay, right. So, nobody's catching that one. Right. Here's the thing we had the Kuma break happening. Okay, there we go. Exactly. Right. It was the Kuma break that we spotted basically. Right. That was the one there. So, yesterday, some of you might have had an entry. Okay. Now, the nice thing is that the Chica was clear of price, which is quite nice. But I wasn't too happy with that because I wanted to wait for confirmation on the future Kumo cross because that should giving me a little bit more weight in terms of taking the entry. But not only that, this has also started pushing the Chiku on the other side of the cloud. Okay, and I like the way that the Tenkan and Kujin are running. So this looks like a good enough entry for me now. Okay, I've got just more than enough things fitting the profile on this one. I mean, even if this turns against us, we've got the support levels that have started forming at the top here, so we could get the bounces happening. But I love the way everything's being set up now at this point in time. So, would you guys agree with me? Would this be a good one to take? If not, what would be another signal? Right, anyone got an idea? That's it, exactly. I'd go, I'm very confident in that one, so let's check it. Let's get the calculators out. Okay. So you all grab your 1% risk on your charts. And what we're gonna do is I should quickly get the calculator up and running here. There we go. 40 divided by boom, 1. Okay, let's check here. From entry to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So obviously this red candle is the highest point. There we've got it sitting at 2059. Okay, so that gives me my volume I need to take. I'm going to take the sell signal on this. So the volume I'm entering is 0.19. Sell into the trade. There we go, trade set. Now I'm just going to pull the stop into place. Boom, done. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about this trade anymore. This one is taken. We're just going to manage it as it keeps on going. Okay, remember, some are going to go your way, some are not going to go away. It's going to be a mixture of results that we're going to get. The key factor is to try and take advantage of the, how would I say, the additional entries that pop up. Okay, right. The additional entries would be your Tenkan and Kujin Sen crosses, your price breaking Kujin, or even your Chiku breaking price into a particular direction. Okay? It's normally just after retracement that we tend to get those happening. And we really want those retracements to happen actually. Okay? Because here's the thing. When they happen and they give you an extra entry signal, you're adding another strength and or another trader onto that flow, that original trend that you took. That's going to give you a very good idea of how we add to positions that are already winning. Okay, right. Next one. Okay, what have we got happening here? We have got check there. Okay, price is now actually breaking the Kujin Sen. Okay, so we get price breaking Kujin, which is a sell signal. But where's it situated? It's on the wrong side of the cloud, firstly. Okay, so I'm not liking that at all. Um, I wouldn't touch this with a wooden spoon or anything really. Think about it. We've got the Chiku over here moving into price as well. So this is just purely telling us that this is going to consolidate. this is the first real extra entry we might be getting, okay, in terms of re-entering into this trend. Those of you who took the Kumo break on this one, well done, because you made a heck of a lot of profit already on this trade, right? You would still be in the trade because remember we ratchet to the third flat section, okay? And now this is starting to set up a second entry, okay? Check there. So if we get price continue going up from here, then we might be in for a good chance to actually gain an extra entry into this already well-performing trade for those of you already got in. The only thing we need to make sure of is that the Chiku clears price as well. So keep an eye out for a couple of extra candles of what could be happening. But this is something we're definitely going to keep our eye on. Okay. So this one looks like it could be producing something. We're obviously looking for a buy signal here. If it continues going sideways, basically, then this is most likely going to change trend as well. So we don't really want to tackle it at that point in time. Okay, right. Next chart. Let's see what this one produces. Here we've basically got the pound franc. Now on this one, got an entry signal being given by the Tenkan Kujin-sen cross. Okay. Also, this has started making a retracement. So everything still looks good though, okay? We might be able to get a second entry coming in at one other point. We're just going to need to wait and see how far this retraces, or if it just turns and continues going, down from here onwards. But we've already ratcheted our stop loss. We've got 1, 2, 3 flat sections back. We've got a flat section forming here, so once this starts going down or changes direction and goes up, then we're gonna just drop it by an extra bit. Okay, so that trade's still going quite good. Happy with the flow on that one. Right. Now let's just check. Are there any questions that any of you have got in terms of this chart at this point in time? You can see it's a fairly simple process to manage actually, right? It's, the key factor is understanding the signals when they come up. Once you're in the trade, it's quite simple. You just let it run. You're already in it, and you just need to keep an eye out for any of the new signals. So the the big thing is trying to be able to spot the better entry opportunity between the different signals that are going to pop up, because they do tend to pop up, one after the other. So if you've missed one, there will be another one that pops up. Okay. Right, next chart. Pound yen. Okay, so the pound yen, very, very similar to what we've just seen. Okay, not really much happening. Can we ratchet? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3. No, not really. Okay, we're still a bit at that point. We have to wait for this to drop a little bit further. Then we'll be able to ratchet this most likely. Okay. At least we're going to be making sure that we're minimizing any losses that could be possible. So far, yeah, this one just needs a bit more time to move as well. Like I said, this one's trending beautifully. Everything's pointing in the right direction. Still more than enough room in front of the Chico. So there's not really anything extra that we can find out of this one in particular. Okay. Right. Interesting. What have we got going here, guys? Bullish, bearish. What do you say? This one's a bit more tricky, isn't it? Okay, good answer. Okay, consolidation. Okay, we're definitely getting a consolidation happening at this point. There's sideways movement. We've just had kind of a confirmation of a Kumo break. right? If you look very closely, let's just move the support and resistance level out of the way. But that's why it's a good call, William. It's a very good call, actually, right? Um, Technically, this would be called bullish because we've had the future Kumo cross and price, did confirm closing above the um, Kumo cloud, right? But as we all know at this point in time already, one of the main factors that we want to look at is where the Chiku span is situated. And look at the Chiku span, right? It's below the cloud, but more importantly, it's heading towards price. Okay, I'd rather wait for price to be cleared before I really jump into this because this is really at a consolidation point because of that. Okay, so we're looking at this in a bit of a more advanced type of way, kind of looking 3 steps ahead of time. Okay, remember what's going to happen from this point onwards. This could either go up. Now, what's going to happen if this goes up? Let's have a look. Let's say it does that. Okay, it goes up nice and strongly. Okay, we're going to see that. So what's going to happen? We're going to get the Chiku hitting price. Okay, I'd rather wait for it to clear price to the up there. So we're going to leave this for a little while still. Okay, if this basically gets into price, we can get this moving sideways and then get a trend change happening as well. But this could just as easily start going down from here now. Okay, then we might get a Chiku breaking price to the bottom here. So all in all, this is almost looking a little bit more to the advantageous side for the sell signal that could be coming up with this. You see what I'm saying? We're trying to look a couple of steps ahead of time to be able to see what could be coming up and what we could be um, looking at as good viable entry signals. One might be stronger than the other. And here we can see the downwards move might actually be a bit of a better signal than the upwards move. If we're going to get the upwards move, we want to wait for the level at the top to be broken, to have a bit more confidence in that. Uh, but I love the fact that the downwards move would have the Chiku sitting in a very, very nice open space in that. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at the next chart then. This one, we're not going to do anything right now as of this point in time. Okay. We're just waiting a little bit longer before we really dive in. Okay. Now, what has happened here? Let's hear it. This is one I specifically did not want to take with the last session when we looked at it. Okay. Okay, current candle closes basically at roughly 2 in the morning. Okay, it basically happens server time. So once it hits 12 server time, in other words, for ACM Gold, this should close at basically once this hits 12. So 12 tonight, the ACM candle should close. Okay, so it's always based on the server time or the market watch time. Okay, so you're going to notice that your confirmation is going to come later on a platform like markets.com, 2 hours later, because they run off GMT. Okay, so a very good question, that one. Okay, right. Now, with this one in particular, okay, we're getting we had a Kuma break, a short while ago. We had it around here, but we had the Chiku basically kind of into price, and even if it was going to go further up, we had it heading into price, which means this is most likely going to consolidate. So I didn't want to take the Kumo break, you remember? Okay. I said then also we could probably wait for a future Kumo cross, but we're still going to need to see where the Chiku would be situated and where price is in, junction with the cloud. And well, we did get the future Kumo cross, and that didn't look too good. And remember, we actually checked what could happen if this goes down or up. We said if it goes down, we, this is going to need a little bit more time because it all depends on where the Chiku's going to be, where when it breaks price, that kind of thing. So one of the things we said is that we want to wait for the break of the support and resistance level. You remember? Okay. So we said we'd rather wait for the break of the support and resistance level to happen here, because then we're going to get the Chiku starting to clear price. And that's what we're starting to see now. Okay. So this one is starting to set up an entry for a buy. Okay, let's zoom out slightly to get a bit of a bigger picture. Okay, see how it's been running. So yeah, we could probably see something happening. Hopefully we can get a nice run up until the point, the top over there. Okay, but so far I like the way that this is going. Okay, um, tomorrow we'll just keep an eye on that, and we'd have a look at what it's trying to produce. Okay, but we should probably have confirmation finished by tomorrow. So nothing yet. Okay. We need to wait for the confirmation to happen. So we're only going to be able to take this tomorrow, most likely. Okay. Remember, anything can still happen in these last couple of hours. Um, anything can happen, really. Okay. Next chart. Let's see what we've got then. This is the Australian dollar versus US dollar. What have we got here? This is almost virtually similar to the previous example. Okay. Remember when we had price roughly doing the Kumo break? We didn't really want to take it because um, the future Kumo wasn't bullish yet, so we wanted to wait a little bit longer, and we did wait a little bit longer. Um, and I'd produced the future Kumo cross, but I wasn't happy with where price was at that point in time, because we've got this huge support and resistance level that's formed at the top of these clouds. Okay. And we also had kind of the Chiku moving a lot closer into price, okay, especially when it started having the point where it came down, right, like right over there. And that was a bit more worrisome. So the safer bet for me was actually just to wait for the Chiku to get clear from price and break these levels, which it's doing. Okay. Everything else is setting up nicely. Good future Kuma pointing up nicely. Tenkan and Kujin pointing up nicely. Both above the cloud. Price above the cloud. Chiku in open space. Just waiting for confirmation on this one as well. Okay. So this one looks to be a very nice buy signal that's going to come up. Okay. So just keep an eye on that one. And let's see what this is going to produce tomorrow. We should be getting into that one. Okay. Now, last one we're looking at for now. Here we've got the franc yen. Okay, so ratcheting, nothing that we can do. This is still trending strongly. Okay, it's having a slight retracement now, so we just need to wait. It's pulled back obviously, so we lost a bit of profits that we did make. With it having moved nicely, the last couple of candles. So just needs its time. Okay, so remember, we're in quite a couple of entries actually. We're in what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries already. Okay. Yep, with one that we just took today. And tomorrow, most likely, we're going to get another 2 that we're going to be able to enter in. Okay. So that basically means that we're already going to be exposed with a total of 10 trades, all on different charts. Okay. Um, and some of them are running nicely into profits. You can see how, basically judging these things in a particular way kind of helps you, especially when you look at what's the possibilities going both sides of the cloud. Okay. which would be the better position to wait for, which would be a stronger signal. All that makes a huge difference because it keeps you out of a lot of false signals and you minimize losses that way. Okay. Also, the ratcheting with the third um, Kujansen section gives us more than enough room for price to do its retracement and then continue breathing, also adding to the original existing position that we got in it. Okay, so it makes a lot more kind of sense to run it with a little bit of a bigger stop, purely to add to the position as it keeps growing. Okay? And that way we add more trades and we add more weight to the stronger trends. Okay, so the stronger the trend, the more money we're going to make. That's why we never run with any target when using the Ichimoku. The key factor here is to build up as many trades as possible. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of consolidation happening on the, rand dollar at this point in time. I agree with you there, William. Um, big moves. We're seeing a bearish future Kumo, and our future Kumo is bearish, eh? See there, red. Okay. Um, Also, okay, let's just zoom in slightly. Let's have a rough estimate of as to what can happen probably with the rand, or on a technical side. Um, just expect to be longing most of the time on this. Whenever there's any State of the Nation address or that kind of thing, long. Good money to be made. You can see how these things jump when those announcements are made. Eh? That's insane. Budget speech, remember? Okay. Um, So we've got obviously that little I want to say advantage because we're from this country, so we've got a little bit more insight than most other people out there. But so far, this is something that has been running quite steeply, in the favor of the dollar. So we having rands, we're not smiling a lot at all. Okay, it has recovered slightly. Um, and it seems like it could be, stabilizing maybe. You know, um, according to the Ichimoku, what are we thinking is going to happen or could happen? Okay, what are we seeing? Currently, there is consolidation, so we really don't know until it actually makes a move. But what are most of the signals pointing towards to? What do you think? Just want to get a bird's eye view, okay? Now there we go. I would say more or less the same actually, William. I'm also thinking we could look at a bearish phase, so we could look at a slight recovery happening with the rand. I don't know how long that's going to last. That's the only thing. Um, but yeah, we're just going to have to kind of cross fingers and hope, because the better that gets, that's where we want to start, funding our live accounts, and then it can get worse, you know. So remember, whenever the rand basically weakens as well, if you've got foreign currency, that's when you're smiling, So that's why it's always important to have basically foreign currency accounts as well. And that's the nice thing about trading forex. Your account basically gets held in dollars. So as soon as you deposit your money, it gets converted to basically dollars. You can actually choose to have it done in pounds as well if you'd like. So it's basically a personal opinion. Um, but all in all, it's a good cover for specifically now the type of fluctuations we get, within the rand. And look how much variation there was within this in the last couple of months. Okay, had a lot more steadier flow earlier in the year and that kind of thing, but you could see how bad it's gotten, basically since July. Okay, this at a much steeper angle. Okay, um, yeah, right. So we probably could see this pulling down slightly, but again, that's what the masses think. That's gonna be the overall deciding factor on this. If we look at this at a much more longer term basis, oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Right. I'm just wondering how we're still being able to pay so little for petrol at this point in time. Let's see. Let's actually see if oil's on here. Just for interest's sake. I mean, we've still got 15 minutes left. We've run through our full analysis. Um, the whole thing basically is that there's not a lot to do. We just had like two signals that could be popping up. Nothing really to change or anything. Show all. Okay, let's see if we're gonna have oil here. Where's that? That's natural gas. That's Brent crude. There we go. Let's just for interest's sake see what that's doing. There's the daily. Ooh, very nice on there. Love that. Okay, let's get the templates on. Template. That should be it. Let's shift that. There we go. Okay. So it looks like oil's starting to get a little bit more expensive. Okay. So what are we expecting? Okay. Hopefully we're not going to see some. Yeah. Your currency. Go on, William. You can see basically that we might be looking at some increase in petrol prices that could be happening at any one of points in time soon. Barrels costs are starting to increase, and it looks like it's wanting to gain some bullish flow here on the chart. So a barrel's gonna start becoming a bit more expensive. But remember, we are paying more dollars for a rand at this point in time. So yeah, that is gonna have like a double-edged effect on that. So we need to grit our teeth for a little while probably. Hopefully the rand pulls down enough and it negates that effect, and then oil continues going down. But again, all of that is speculation at this point in time. But you see how something like the Ichimoku could give us, the Kuma bracket is definitely something that we could be looking at happening, and not only look at where the Chiku is going to be, it's going to be clearing price as soon as we get the Kuma break happening. Okay, once the Kuma break at that point happens, we're going to get that Chiku moving clear from price, and it's going to be a nice open space. Um, so it's starting to look all in all more favorable for an upwards move here. That's why I'm thinking that we're probably going to see some increase in oil value and that kind of thing. Um, Again, this is all just we're looking at what could be happening. We're just going to have to wait and see exactly. But it's definitely something that looks worthwhile to take a chance on. Technical wise, specifically with, especially if price makes that Kuma break, because that'll be clearing that level over there, and then it'll push the Chiku into nice clear open space. So definitely something we could be looking at. But you can see, it works so nice to have basically that understanding of the Chiku, and it gives you a much better idea of what we could be looking at overall, with any type of market movement and so forth. Okay. Now, I just want to find out from you guys at this point in time, are there any questions that you'd like to ask me in terms of the Ichimoku at this point in time? If you'd like me to go into a little bit more detail about maybe one of the entry methods, those type of things, all good, go ahead, um, let me know. We've got that bit of extra time to kind of run through, um, any of the questions that you might be having. Okay, right. Okay, now that's great stuff to hear. You see, William, the big difference is it's just I want to say discipline in terms of making sure that you actually get in for the different types of entries. Once you actually start just manually doing it, you start developing that habitual way of assessing it, and that's the big thing. Okay. Um, No, it's all good. All good, Tony. Don't worry about it, just try and follow with what you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions and so forth, if anything comes up. How's it, Matimba? Good to see you on. So I know you said you had a bit of issues and that kind of thing. I'll check what's happened with the mails and that kind of thing. Um, I'm not sure. I think there was just, maybe I don't know what happened there specifically, but I'll check up. I'll try and see what happened there. Okay, but thanks for letting me know about what happened. I appreciate that. Okay, luckily you guys were probably able to spot this within the normal registration link as well. But otherwise, remember you will be able to catch this on the replay now afterwards. Okay. Uh, Not a lot that happened tonight. Remember, we just had basically quite a lot of retracements happening. We're in 8 trades in total at this point in time, with a possible 2 that could be coming up tomorrow. Okay, and the key factors is try and do this just for or do basically what we did today, just every single night. That's it. And you're going to notice we're talking obviously a lot longer. We're talking about quite a lot of other things, but it's just for me to make sure that you guys understand what we're doing and start making this your own. It takes quite a little while to get into the habit of analyzing this properly, but once you're in it and you get comfortable with it, it's going to run good. Okay, you just stick with running with it. It takes just that bit of time to form that habit, and that's the key thing. It's making sure that that proper habit is formed and that you don't have any issues in terms of doubt within signals that come up and so forth. Okay, right. So, any other questions that any of you might like me to tackle while we're still on here? Like I said, there's not a lot that's happened there. We might have 2 extra entries tomorrow. Okay. And maybe a bit later in the week we could do some ratcheting, but that's about it. Nothing much else after that. Yeah. Okay, and then let's just see. Profit was started to move a little bit more in our favor again now. Always happens like that. Okay, like I said, the retracements they're to be expected, guys. There's no running away from them. They will always be there. So it will feel sometimes like these things do jump against us, move against us, um, but it's a part of the normal flow. Okay. Okay, great stuff to you, William. I'm happy that you enjoyed the session, that kind of thing, and everything's sorted there. Um, Tony, any questions you've got, or Matimba, anything you'd like to handle? Any of you watching the? Let's see. Okay, so Matimba, you're good. Well done. Great stuff. Okay. Okay, no, great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. That's the main thing, guys. As long as you're picking up stuff and learning things, that's it. Uh, there's a lot more things that's going to need to be checked and assessed and seen and so forth. But that's why we need to give this time to run through. You still haven't seen how we start getting into the re-entries and adding positions and so forth, and then managing multiple stops. Okay, so we're still going to get into that. It's just going to take some time to get to those levels. So that's the one thing you need to understand. Okay, you need to be comfortable that this is going to take a lot longer than what you're normally used to with playing around with live pricing or intraday pricing, that kind of thing. Um, but once you've got the system down, this is so easy to maintain. You just need to do it, once a day. I do this in the evenings, obviously. Because I've got more than enough time, and this is so quick to do actually, it takes me 5 minutes, not even, and I'm through everything, obviously we're taking a little bit longer here because I'm explaining a lot more and I'm making sure you guys catch the analysis. That's the big thing. Okay. But other than that, I think everything should be fine then. Okay. Well, guys, that's it for the evening then. Okay. Um, all good, William. I'll be signing off now as well. Okay. There's no use in running further at this point in time. Um, let's basically just get back next week again and see what would have transpired at that point in time. Okay. Remember, if you start following with this, try and run with the demo account and kind of just keep up with what we are doing so that you guys can get some good exposure on how this is running and so forth. Okay. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining. Appreciate it a lot. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I'll chat to most of you then next week again in the live training sessions. Okay. Cheers, guys.